extra month before we make any major decisions, because there's huge costs done in this. I think that we still need to look at getting requests for proposals during that time frame for what it's going to cost to charge a fare, what it is going to cost to put fare boxes in the buses. I don't think this is an option. I think the people of Island County need to have some skin in the game. The people that are riding the buses need to have some skin in the game. Just like you said, the major sales tax revenue comes from the metropolitan areas over here. Okay, let the people on Camino and the people in the outlying areas pitch in their fair share by paying a fare. We also need to explore the routes that Jackie was talking about. There's all kinds of different routes we're looking at for revenues. And I was going to ask if we had any returns on the request for proposals on advertisement. Maybe you can give us an update on that, Ken. Okay. While we're waiting for all these things to happen, I'm going to make a motion that, just like I said in the work session, I'm going to make a motion that we table this issue until such time, at least till this legislative session is completed. And if Paul kick the can down the road, whatever you want, we have capacity to go ahead and fund 411 route as it is currently exists, and I think we need to do such.
Okay, could you
I make a motion. Yes, I make a motion to continue the 411 routes as they currently exist until such time as the legislative session ends.
There's been a motion to table this until the decision has been made on the legislature regarding the possible funding. As your second.
I'll second, but I'm going to have discussion.
We are going to have discussion. There is a motion on this issue, and there is a second. Motion by Mr. Handel and a second by Ms. Johnson. Now we're going to have discussion, and we're going to come back to you. We'll let you talk.
I'm for a modified kick the can approach. What my main reason is I think we're all working off different numbers and different assumptions. A little bit still. I think that we need some clarification about Skagit's willingness to work with us. I need further clarification on Dave Hayes' proposal in terms of how the 412 works. Can we use the 412 to connect to Skagit Station and have them connect down that way? It's a little backtracking, but I just think that we need to really understand more of what our options are and who our partners are. Again, I'd like Paul to walk us through the budget revenue projections. I am nervous about extending to the end of the legislative session because running full service without the grant piece of it is going to cost us $42,000 a month. And so if we use up that money extending for additional months, that's money we don't have to get us through November and December. And so we're going to front load all of our capacity and we may not have it to keep the service going. And so I think we need to get to reach a decision soon. But what I'm concerned about is just the totals that Rick just added up and the totals that I have aren't the same totals. And so I really want clear, concise totals and options. And then in terms of Camino Island, look, I was coming in here saying we're going to have to just cut that. But Steve, are you Steve? Yeah, Steve sold me. He's absolutely right about the fact that the regional services for Camino Island are not in Island County. And so where we're talking about some people accessing service, employment, and schools, and things that I think are significant from Whidbey, Camino Island, we depend on that regionalization for their services. And so he's actually not wrong about that. And because I was on the same sales tax argument as you know, property tax Camino pays, sales tax not as much, pay for the service that you get. But the reality of it is we've designed a system that forces them out of their county, and we're talking about individuals who need some of these services who transit is really designed for. So well done to you, because I don't like to change my mind too often. I'm pretty stubborn. But you did a good job there. So I'm going to support kicking the can. I would prefer a modification to the amendment that we look at it again next month, because I am concerned about extending with the legislators. They make money the longer they work. We're losing money the longer they work. So we have some differences there.
Jim, do you have any comments?
No, just to agree with Jill that the purpose of the transit system especially Island Transit, is to provide a connection between services, and it is a service itself. Our customers, our customer base is on both islands, Camino Island and Whidbey Island north and south. I can see that the north end and the south end get lots of benefit from Island Transit. We all, and therefore, I would also say it's very important that Camino Island residents get benefit from Island Transit. The benefit they get might not look quite the same. It might be a different kind of connectivity. It's a connectivity outside their county boundaries. Their county boundaries are something we can't control, but it is a benefit nonetheless that they receive. And they pay, I think, through the sales tax and indirectly through the fact that they are residents of Camino Island, they are also supporting the county as a whole through their property tax. If we get into an accounting system that looks at every sub-region to see whether they are paying sufficient sales tax to supply regional transit, we would break the whole system apart, and I'm not in favor of that. I also think that our financial position has recovered, and that we can come close to maintaining the current level of service with our current level of income, even after the state grants go away. What we have to look at is how much of a cut is necessary in those connector services. We've cut them some to date. We may need to cut them some more. I like the idea of seeing where we're at as we approach the half-year mark. I would support certainly considering this again at our next meeting, and regardless of whether the legislative session is over or not. At our next regular meeting, the latest.
Is that all?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Norton?
I spoke already, and that's my position.
Okay, thank you. There's a motion on the floor by Mr. Hanold to maintain the 411W and the 411C services and to review this decision in our May regular board meeting. Did I state that correctly? And second by Ms. Johnson. There's no further discussion. I will call for the vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It carries unanimously, so we're going to maintain that service the way it is for 1 month and come back to it in May. Now, I won't be here. I'll be on planet Earth, I hope, in May, but I won't be at this meeting. So, what do you mean, hey? So you may have a tie vote. I don't know, in the event you have a tie vote, what is the board's or the transit district's rules for breaking the tie vote?
I don't think we have an action then.
Well, then, let's take a vote. I'm sure we have a coin flip.
I'm not flipping a coin on this.
No.
No, I was kidding. I just.
In event of a tie, Rick wins.
Which Rick? Jim, you'll be you're going to be at that meeting, are you not?
I'm actually uncertain about whether I'll be at the meeting on the 22nd.
No, well, then we'll,
And
won't have a tie.
You won't have a tie. We'll have a quorum.
Yeah, I have some medical appointments that may preclude my being there.
Okay, well, I will be totally out of, no ability to get a hold of them. But I will be on planet Earth.
I maybe would suggest that Meg survey the board to determine if we're going to have enough participation. I think that is a day where I have to leave early for a meeting in Olympia, so we may have an actual problem.
At the workshop on the 11th.
Oh, that's when I'm leaving early?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Glad someone's in charge of me.
So one of the items you have on the agenda is to decide whether or not you're going to even have the business meeting on the 22nd, because that's the Friday before Memorial Day weekend. And there was, I mean, tossed around what, maybe moving it to the following Friday, which would be the 29th. And that hasn't happened, we haven't had that conversation
Yeah,
yet.
good. I'll be back roughly on the May 20,
That's before the 22nd.
That's before the 22nd.
excuse me.
Yeah.
But we were talking about changing that date though. That was my
Well,
concern.
yeah, I'll be out of town on the 22nd, or the 29th.
Then you're gonna keep it on the 27th? You could.
That's
You're
up to
gonna
you
do it.
guys.
We'll do it at 4:03.
That works for me, I just was suggestion. So that's all this problem.
Mr. Chairman, if you concluded the discussion about the meeting, I just wanted to make a comment about our financial position. There's been a lot of discussion about our position currently after the first quarter, what it's looking like, what the projections look like for the remainder of the year. What I really want to point out and remind the board of is that our revenue situation looks good. It looks good through the remainder of the year. But I'm also looking 2 or 3 years down the road when we need all the reserves and all the cash we can get for local match, for new vehicles, for additional service. We're not looking at a 1-year period. And I just want to remind the board that I think we have to keep 2, 3, 4 years in perspective and building up those needs for local match. Because we're going to be in dire need of vehicles in the next couple of years.
Good comment.
I appreciate that.
In the finance, and this isn't meant to be anything other than just a statement of truth, but in the finance committee meeting, we talked about the fact that we have not built in extra legal costs for contract negotiations. It costs more to deal with union representation than it does to just sit down and chat. So some of our dynamics will be, it's just true. Some of our dynamics will be changing in terms of wage increases, grievances, different things that Island Transit will now be dealing with in terms of those types of costs. And so I don't want to be naive about some of the things that are going to happen financially. $3,000 every 2 months might look like a bargain here in 6 months. So not everybody gets along, which is what I think will happen, but I just want to put it out. It's expensive.
Okay.
Here we are.
Good comment, and so I have no more discussions. I want to, before we adjourn, our next business meeting then will remain the 22nd, I'm sure. Okay?
We do have a workshop.
And we have a workshop on the 11th. And so we will go into an executive session.
Just for clarification, are we going to have for the 22nd the draft RFP for, to see what it's going to cost to, so, I mean, our request for proposals is not a contract, it's a request to see what it's going to cost to initiate a purchase.
My thinking on that, Rick, is that it would be more of a report than an RFP. I'm not sure. I've got all the information for those comparisons. I don't think we need
as well.
I don't think we need to put out a formal RFP to get the answers we need. And I'm not opposed to an RFP, except that I don't think it's going to give us everything that we need and would not be sensitive to what our local concerns are. I would like to first present a report and work with the information we have. I've got plenty of information on fare box recovery, on fare box costs, the cost of processing fares, and I would prefer sticking with that information and writing that up and analyzing it before doing too much outside the organization at this point. I think it would give a good picture of, I think it would give you some good information as to what you're looking for, and I don't think we need an RFP for that, frankly. At this point.
Well,
But I can have that report for the 22nd meeting.
okay.
And then we're also going to have a proposal from staff regarding paratransit, as we discussed in that section of the agenda, what staff recommendation is for scheduling and qualifications and what's their action plan for.
For the 22nd.
Right, we're ready to go to executive session then. We're going to executive session to discuss the interim personnel matter, and no action will be taken in executive session. We will be in there for 15 minutes or less, and we will convene back out here. In the meantime, we'll give it
Rick, did you say no? No action?
15 minutes.
Did you say no? Okay.
No action. And no notes.